and by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America.
Syracuse, New York, October 1987. The longest dirt track race in history. The Miller High Life 300. 188 grueling laps on the unforgiving clay oval known as the Moody Mile. 50 determined men and machines ventured off into the unknown in their search for glory. Leader Kenny Tremont rolled the dice and came up short when he ran out of gas, pushing the envelope for more laps. Front runner Brett Hearn's day ended suddenly as the third turn claimed another victim. Leader Doug Hoffman's mount was jarred into submission, allowing Alan Johnson then to sprint to the front. And yet, 20 laps from conquest, AJ's ride stumbled under the fierce test. Gritty Jimmy Horton had already survived an earlier accident, retrieved a lost lap with precise pit stops, and had apparently outlasted his 15-year marriage with the Black Cat.
We've been so close so many times, and little things have been breaking and, you know, keeping us out of the winner's circle. Just wondering when it's going to stop, you know, and just hope for a little bit of, just a little bit of luck, you know, might help us.
Horton gathered in the last 20 laps and landed the biggest prize of his career. Today, it is another typical Syracuse day at the Moody Mile. The chance of rain, overcast skies, and again today, 50 men and machines are ready to do battle. I'm Roy Silva, and joining me for the Miller High Life 300 is Dick Berggren, the editor of Stock Car Racing magazine. And Dick, a story unfolds before we even begin. The pole sitter has problems.
He sure does. Billy Pouch won the pole here, but in his practice session this morning, boy, did he have a bevy of troubles. Number one, he threw the oil pump belt on his engine. That meant he ran that engine without oil pressure for a little while. How long will it run? Was the engine damaged? No one really knows. At about the same time, the pole sitter also suffered transmission problems. He's gone about 30 miles an hour riding around the racetrack after they repaired it, but that's the best he could do so far. Several teams, in fact, contending teams, had problems in the first practice session. I'm going to tell you what, Roy, this is a wide open event. Not even the fastest cars are guaranteed here.
And they are the fastest cars. This is the fastest Syracuse field ever. Andy Fusco looks at the field.
Thanks, Roy. This is indeed the most competitive field in Syracuse history. The top 30 cars time trialed within 1 second of each other. And drivers at Syracuse will tell you that because the track is so narrow and the groove so slim, that when everyone is that close together, passing is almost impossible. So if you can't pass out there on the racetrack, you're going to have to do it here in the pits. That makes pit stops more important this year than ever before at the Moody Mile.
One other story that is unfolding here at Syracuse, the 1986 winner, Bob McCready, is not here. He was here, he qualified, he packed up and left. With that story, Andy Fusco.
Chief Steward Marty Beverwick, 18th place starter Bob McCready is withdrawn from today's event. Why?
We had a little controversy over the legality of a front bumper on the car, and Bob made some promises that he was going to change the bumper, and push came to shove the other day, and I gave him the ultimatum to either change the bumper, make it legal, or don't bring the car here, and he chose not to come back.
What exactly was wrong with the car's bumper?
It was a one-piece bumper. The rule book definitely tells you it will be two-piece, you know, a double bar bumper, and it was a single bar bumper.
Why was he allowed to time trial in the first place?
Why? Because originally he was told that, and we, you know, with little negotiations, he made some other changes to the car. But before he time trialed, when he time trialed the first day, he taped a piece of conduit on it, to, you know, so it represented a legal bumper.
When he told you he was going to load up and go home, did you think he was serious?
Not really.
We are ready for the Miller High Life 300. 300 kilometers, 188 times around the Moody Mile of the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse. Here's the starting lineup. In the front row, 126, Billy Pouch. Number 30, Kenny Brightbill. Row 2, 85, Jimmy Horton. 44, Frank Cozy. The third row, 125, Doug Hoffman. 98, Ed Marshall. In row number 4, 27J, Danny Johnson. And the number 1 of Ray Bateman. In the fifth row, 704, Fritz Eppright. Number 20, Brett Hearn. Row 6, 22, Dave Lape. 86, Elvin Felty. Row 7, 97, Mike Romano. And the 10 of Rich Urich. In the eighth row, it's the 0 of Lou Blaney and the 7 of Dave Blaney, father and son, in row number 8. row 9. 17, Richie Tobias, scheduled to go Bobby McCready. In the number 9, we already told you that story. Outside in row 9, it's the 14J of Alan Johnson. In the 10th row, it's the 99 of Dickie Larkin, the number 2 of Danny Watson. In row number 11, 31Q, Matt Quinn, and the 1Z of Tom Mayberry. Row number 12, Tommy Corellis in the 57, 117, Lynn Huff. In the 13th row, 111, Charlie Rudolph, 74, Jeff Hetzler. In row number 14, 12A, Jack Johnson, a former winner, 35, Glenn Fitzcharles. In the 15th row, 73, Kenny Brand, 115, Ken Tremont. In row number 16, 24, John Strupp, 85, Gary Wright. In the 17th row, the number 8 of Jack Cottrell, the 91 of Billy Decker. And they're coming down the front straight right now one more time. The fans making a lot of noise here at Syracuse. Going back to row number 18, 42P Pat Ward, 82 Rick Jeffrey. In the 19th row, 173 Donnie Wetmore, the 71E of Carl Fuzzy Van Horn. In row number 20, 11 of Sammy Rogers, 77J John Flock. In the 21st row, 76 Fred Smith, 96 Richie Polans. In the 22nd row, the number 171 of Randy Glensky, the 16 of Kevin Collins. In the 18th row, 78 Rick Ween, 47 Brian Gooey. Next row, the 19th row, for number 71 Scott Kania, 444 Brian Stevens. Then the 61 of C.D. Coville, and the promoters option the added driver, the number 352 of John Proctor. 51 cars ready to go for the Miller High Life 300. And Dick, they're coming around for the start this time, coming in between the corners. The pace car will get out of the way. You can see the front row. There are 4 former winners in the field, 11 rookies. Coming down, Billy Pouch, the question mark on the pole after earlier problems today outside the 30 of Kenny Brightbill down the front straight. Starter Paul Loftus Middletown waves the green flag, and Billy Pouch, the fastest time trialer on the first day of qualifying, moves out in front. Kenny Brightbill runs in the number 2 spot as they go down the back straightaway. Jimmy Horton, last year's winner, runs in 3rd.
Pouch really did jump to start. He was gone. He was definitely in the lead before the green flag, but they decided to go ahead and give it the green flag anyway. Pouch with a good lead going down the backstretch.
Frank Cozy running in the 4th spot. Cozy, number 44. Horton, the winner last year, running 3rd, trying to move up on the field as they all trail Billy Pouch here at the end of lap number 1 of the Miller High Life 300. Jimmy Horton running 3rd, the defending champion. It's unlikely somebody is going to lead this race all the way, Dick. There are going to be 2, maybe 3 pit stops in the race. Fuel mileage, a very important factor here at the Moody Mile at Syracuse this year.
It really is, and at least one competitor, Jack Johnson, is going to try to do it on 1 pit stop. Frank Cozy in the 44 may also try to do it on 1 pit stop. But right now, we've got a battle on the racetrack for 2nd and 3rd position. Brightbill running in 2nd. That's the white car in the lead on your screen. Horton is right behind him. He's last year's winner. He is trying to take that 2nd spot away from Brightbill.
Frank Cozy running in 4th, and Doug Hoffman is right now in 5th. That's the way they started this race. By the way, speaking of Kenny Brightbill, he has had a good season on the dirt tracks this year, running 2nd right now at Syracuse. Will Cagle, who is 2nd on the all-time point list at the Moody Mile for this race, says that Brightbill is his choice to win this one. Cagle, now the man in charge of the Orange County Fairgrounds Speedway, says Brightbill is the man to watch here for the Miller High Life 300. Right now, he is running about 20 car lengths behind Billy Pouch. Pouch, the pace setter. Brightbill in 2nd as they continue to run in the same order. Jimmy Horton 3rd, Frank Cozy, and Doug Hoffman. The cars have strung out pretty quickly, running single file, very little racing for position going on at all at the very early stages. Not too unusual in a long-distance race, Dick.
No, this is time to pace yourself, and that's just what everybody is doing. They're leaving some distance between themselves and the car that's in front of them. They don't have rearview mirrors in their cars, so they don't know how to pace the guy behind them, but they sure know how to pace the car in front of them.
We'll be back to the Miller High Life 300 right after this.
All week long, you've been thinking about today. It's race day. Time to kick back and taste the high life. Now the sun's hot. The Miller High Life's cold. The cars are ready. And so are you. Stop and taste the high life. Miller High Life.
Why spend endless hours searching for that perfect gift that isn't perfect? A simple alternative is by purchasing one of our many dirt-wearing apparel items. Our sleek dirt winter jackets would be the highlight of any racing fan's wardrobe, along with the comfortable dirt sweaters. For the sporting type, try our ever-popular dirt golf shirts and dirt hats. Also, don't forget your favorite driver t-shirts. Order yours today. Just send check or money order care of Dirt, P.O. Box 240, Leedsport, New York, 13166.
Chevy S10 invites you to own the street with the biggest engine ever offered in a compact pickup. The most V6 power and torque available in a compact truck. And a price to make your heart beat faster than ever.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's over. We have nothing in common.
Never agreed on one thing. Ever.
Great. I'm too good for him.
I can do better.
I need to find someone
more like me.
When you find something you have so much in common with, something so unique, so refreshing,
Hi.
You just can't stop yourself from grabbing it and holding on to it forever.
Here's the field coming ready for the green flag again. Billy Pouch out in front. And that lap car beat Kenny Brightville down underneath. And Brightville still has the slower car between himself and race leader Billy Pouch. That is Brian Goey, who is the lap car. Brian had to come through the non-qualifiers race to make the field. He has finally gotten into it, and boy, he is making life difficult for runner-up Kenny Brightville. Brightville cannot get by him.
Yeah, he's not doing it deliberately. Certainly he's not doing it deliberately. But keep in mind that if he could somehow or another get by Pouch, and if then there were a caution flag, he would pick his lap back up again. He'd be back in the lead lap, and certainly that's what he's trying to do.
He ran as well in the non-qualifiers races we've seen anybody run throughout the entire week. And now running virtually as fast as race leader Billy Pouch, but a lap down to the leader. Kenny Brightville still second. And then C.D. Colville is holding off Frank Cozy, who is running third in the 44. Then Jimmy Horton trying to come back up through the field, the former winner in the number 85. We got trouble over in turn number 2. A hard crash into the wall. Rick Jeffries. And right there with him was Charlie Rudolph, the 111. Jeffries got into the wall. Rudolph down the track a little bit farther coming out, and Freddie Smith is the car that got into the side of Rick Jeffries. And that's Dave Blaney on the back straight, not Charlie Rudolph. We're going to look at the replay of that accident involving Rick Jeffrey. Here you see it right here coming down into the first turn. A couple of cars coming out of shape as they go by, and you can see 3-4 cars coming together. Jeffrey, the black car, just hitting the wall back at the far top of your picture. He just got into it all alone, it seemed. Then Freddie Smith slides into him. They do a little tate-to-tate out there and a waltz around. Meanwhile, off to the left side, you'll see the number 1 of Blaney hitting the wall. Rick Jeffrey, the number 82. 76, Freddie Smith.
The pits are absolutely full right now, and Pouch is trapped in the pits by the wrecker. Pouch had the wrecker stop just about in his pit area. He is in, however. So is Cozy. So is the 85 of Horton. Bateman is in. Many of the front runners in at this moment. We are watching Pouch changing his rear tires. We are watching Horton. His crew is trying to push him off. Apparently the car has stalled. Horton will be the first out of the front runners. Brightville will inherit the lead as a result of all this. Pouch still in. They still have not got his tires changed. Horton is gone. He is ahead of him.
Hoffman came out running second. Doug Hoffman came out running second. Here comes Pouch. He'll third.
Long stop for Pouch. Long, long, long stop. Remember, the majority of competitors did not pit at this time.
Doug Hoffman has an air hose stuck on his car, we are told. He must have pulled out of the pits with it still attached.
Yeah, that'll bring Hoffman back in again. He's not going to be able to do much with that air hose stuck on there.
Well, the field remains under the yellow. Pace car staying on the track, so they'll go around one more time. That will give Hoffman a chance to get in.
And we have a report of rain on the racetrack, just about as we said how nice the weather was, Roy.
Here's a picture of the air hose on the car of Doug Hoffman. You can see it dragging off the right side of the car.
car, 125 on your screen right now. Majority of these teams do not do a lot of pit stops, and as a result, they're not as experienced as some of the other teams and other forms of racing. This is the most important pit stop activity that they will get all year.
The white flag is out. Hoffman did not go in.
No, that hose is getting cut up as he goes along. You see it dragging behind the car there. He may be all right after all. If they don't black flag him for it, where that hose is right now, Hoffman should be okay, as long as it doesn't cut a brake line or do some other damage to the automobile.
Brian Goey is the first car. He is on the inside of the front row, double file restart. On the outside is Kenny Brightbill. Brightbill is the race leader. Goey trying to get his lap back. The pace car is out of the way. The field picking up the pace. Here comes the green flag from Paul Luck, but a heavy crash, a major crash.
This field is tangled up in turn 3. Oh, look at this. Count the cars. There must be 15 cars involved in this thing. The racetrack is entirely blocked. This will shut it down for sure.
And another car with smoke coming off it down the front straight. The leaders being slowed down, going down into the back straightaway. I did not see what set that up, Dick, but half the field is involved. 444 Brian Stevens, the car you see right there, smoking heavily.
That looks like tire smoke. He may well have been one of the few people to get through that thing okay. Welcome to the world's most expensive parking lot.
Here's a look at the restart. Watch as 3 rows back, number 98, Eddie Marshall, pinches down on the number 10 of Richie Urich. Marshall runs into Urich, and the Orange County champion then hits the fence. Urich either loses control of the car at this point or possibly bumps into the 71 of Scott Kania. In any event, he spins in the turn in front of the entire field, and the track now turns into a bumper car ride at the county fair. Up front, one car rolls over and comes to a rest upright. You can see Alan Johnson, Jimmy Horton, Kenny Tremont, Charlie Rudolph, and Dave Leif are all heavily involved. The blue number 17 of Toby Tobias spins out trying to avoid the gigantic wreck and then backs into a car anyway. Another angle from in front of the crash shows Urich has already begun to spin. The whole field hits the brakes but has no place to go except into each other. Several cars hit the wall very hard while another rolls completely over. The number 444 of Brian Stevens somehow manages to slip through the massive metal and escape this enormous pileup. Cars continue to slam into the roadblock until the track is totally closed. A very expensive incident in turn 3 has ended the competition for many of Dirt's best. Andy Fusco is at the accident scene with one of the drivers involved.
Dickie Larkin, did you roll over?
I rolled over a couple times, I think. I don't know. I just kept banging. Somebody in front of me got together, and I went around the outside of him, and that was it.
Are you okay?
I think so. I'm going to get out. I'm kind of banged around in here a little bit. It's a little tight in here. It's kind of tight inside the car, so my legs are all banged up and stuff like that. I think I just want to get out and stretch.
Dickie Larkin, the one who flipped here between turns 3 and 4. He looks to be okay, but the car is damaged.
Dickie Larkin took a wild ride for sure. As we just heard, he doesn't think he's injured, but that remains to be seen. That flip had to be unsettling, to say the least. He's getting out of the car. He appears to be shaken, but all right. The Dirt medical staff is going to check Larkin out completely before allowing the Lebanon Valley Star to leave the track. There's the 10 of Richie Urich, and look at the damage to that car, Dick.
Now, the whole back of that thing is pushed in, but fortunately, that's mostly cosmetic damage. It will certainly affect the aerodynamic qualities of the car. Even the back of the roof is gone entirely.
Now, there's Doug Hoffman, one of the multitude involved over there, and Doug has gone into the pits. I'm sure they're going to take care of that air hose now.
If there's any of it left, we can't see any air hose sticking on that automobile anymore, but they're surely going to want to take a look at the car. Oh, Dave Leif on the hook. This was his best chance ever to win Syracuse, he said this morning. He had the car dialed right in. Usually he even has trouble qualifying. This time he qualified extremely well, but he is on the record.
There's Alan Johnson, the 14J. He won this race back in 1983. This is his 12th Miller High Life 300.
We'll be back to the Miller High Life 300 right after this.
They've launched it.
That's impossible.
In today's business battles, you need the latest intelligence. Today's Wall Street Journal.
Think we still have time to move?
Maybe.
Call 800-336-1111 for this special Journal introductory offer.
12 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 12 weeks, $29.75. Call 800-336-1111 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Take a trip with Nesson to Madison Square Garden for a great card of boxing with Fight Night at Felt Forum. It's exclusive coverage bringing all the intensity of some of the best of the breed of up-and-coming young boxers. That's Fight Night at the Felt Forum from Madison Square Garden, here only on your New England Sports Network. Don't miss it. Take a St. Patrick's Day trip to the Garden for a great night of boxing Friday, March 17th at 7 p.m.
It's time once again for America's favorite game show, the Nesson Challenge. Today we've challenged Rapmaster Rob to squeeze Nesson's entire lineup into a 30-second rap song. Rob's ready. Let's take a look.
This is a Nesson rap. Don't have much time, so lend me your ear and I'll give you my rhyme. They got Red Sox, Bruins, Biggies basketball. They got hockey, East, but that ain't all. Here comes boxing and tennis on your tube. Nesson's got more moves than a Rubik's Cube. Remember football, soccer.
Nesson brings you more exciting New England college sports as New England College Lacrosse premieres this spring. We'll feature some top-ranked teams in Syracuse, Harvard, Brown, UMass, Dartmouth, and much more. So be sure to tune in for our 4th season of New England College Lacrosse. It's fast-paced, exciting, hard-hitting, and coming your way in April.
Pace car is out of the way on the back straight. They'll get picking up speed going into the 3rd corner. And Brett Hearn and Kenny Brightbill running side by side. Danny Johnson is 6th. We mentioned the top 5 earlier. And Brightbill gets a jump on him down in the corner. He got the hammer down first.
Yeah, the green flag still is not out. It just came, Roy. The green flag just now came out. Oh, crash coming off the 4th corner.
Richie Urich.
Urich blown into the wall. He is sideways. Oh, and another car has just collected Urich. We have cars everywhere on the racetrack. The whole front stretch is tied up with cars. It is still going on.
Well, that started. Richie Urich got out of shape. 76, Freddie Smith involved.
That is fuel you see pouring out of the back of Urich's car. Remember, he had a lot of damage to the back of that car earlier.
John Flock in the 77 involved.
That is just raw gasoline pouring out of the racetrack. Urich, get out of the car.
And Urich is out. He's okay. Glenn Fitzgerald's the other car involved, number 35. A lot of gas on the track, as you said, Dick. It is just a big puddle down there.
But they're doing something really smart, Roy. They're not letting anybody drive through that fuel. That is raw gasoline coming right out of the back of Rich Urich's fuel cell. As long as they don't drive over the top of that, they should be okay, should be able to dry up that gas and get it squared away. These tanks hold 22 gallons, and you're seeing about 21 3/4 worth of it being poured onto the racetrack right now.
Here we go. We look at it right here. There is Urich. He got some help.
He sure did. He was airborne coming off that corner, Roy.
And now you'll watch Brian Stevens. Here's Urich bouncing back off the wall. Now watch Brian Stevens just come through right about right here.
Hello.
Take the side.
Boom. There it is. And you can see the fuel's coming out right away.
He's just lucky there was not a fire right there.
Our camera was lucky, too. It almost took a piece of the bumper off Urich's car right in the lens.
Here we'll look at it from another angle. Same crash. Richie Urich will be on the outside of the track. Here's somebody, look at the down inside. You've got somebody badly out of shape. That's the car that hit Urich. I can't catch the number on it as Urich goes into the wall heavily. Then comes off the wall, comes out into traffic, and Brian Stevens collects it.
Now, apparently, Urich went over Mikey Romano's tire. And look at this. It is still going on. This crash took a long while to continue. You can see on the right of your screen, on the lower side of your screen, that's Brian Stevens. Now you can see how damaged that car is that Roy was talking to you about. That Stevens tire rolling down the racetrack. It virtually tore the whole rear end out of the car. Incredibly, look at Stevens is still driving that thing. He is still steering the car. He wants to get it up out of the groove, get it out of the way, so there'll be no further damage to the automobile. That's Brian Stevens you're looking at now on your screen.
I got to say, some incredible camera work done by the expert crew here on the Dirt TV team.
They've done a great job today. They really have. And there's been plenty for them to shoot as well. Look at Urich's car. Both all corners of that car are damaged. You can't damage them a whole lot worse than that. Have everything come out okay for the driver.
They are hauling off the 4th turn. Green flag is waving. And Brightbill pulls away immediately. The front three cars are running bumper to bumper. Then a lap car before fourth, fifth, and on back. The lap car is the 61 of Super CD Colville, who came from the non-qualifiers race. He was the alternate starter, the first alternate to get into the field. That was because Bob McCready did not take the green flag today, so Colville got into the race. But it's Kenny Brightbill out front, Dick, and he has just looked so strong all day long.
Yeah, he really has. He's never won one of these things, only finished in the top 10 here one time. If he were to win today, what a story it would be. 48 years of age, Kenny Brightbill had once left this event and gone off with a competing sanctioning body to run the then Nazareth National Speedway in a fight with the promoter here, and it was quite a while before he decided he was going to come back, and right now he is running better than we have ever seen him run.
Well, Kenny Brightbill, Mr. Outside, is just one of those guys you like to watch race. He has always got his foot into it, never a question.
This car is a brand new automobile. The car that he ran last year was 49 races old. Hardly the best car that one could ever imagine. Brightbill put this car together himself. The majority of cars in this race are factory cars built by Olson or Troyer or one of the major manufacturers. Not so with Brightbill. He said, I want to do this on my own, and he sure did, and it is working to perfection this afternoon.
Now, there is Super CD in the 61. Look at Danny Johnson. Frank Cozy is elected to go to the outside. Billy Pouch throws it in underneath. Look at that battle for that spot right there. They are battling for fourth. Cozy has the spot. Right now, Cozy, the yellow car, the number 44, is in fourth. Billy Pouch right behind him. They're behind CD. Here's your leader, Kenny Brightbill, on the front straight. They come through the hole over in turn number 3. You can still, that remains a problem over there. Kenny Brightbill, the leader, Brett Hearn right behind him second. They've gotten away from third running Eddie Marshall. And then you got C.D. Colville. Danny Johnson running fourth, Frank Cozy fifth, Billy Pouch sixth. That is the fight right there, Dick, and it is a great one. Fritz Eppright with him also. He is in seventh.
Yeah, it really is a great fight. I just wish Colville were on the lead lap, but unfortunately he's not. Nonetheless, this sure is fun to watch. Remember, no rear view mirrors in these cars. They don't know exactly where the cars are that are behind them. Many of the cars do have radios, but the radios are not in such a position that they know all the time where everybody is. It's a very big guessing game as to where each other is on the racetrack.
The cars running right behind CD are running 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, and now 11th as Alan Johnson gets in through there.
And Pouch just made a brilliant move coming off the fourth corner. He went underneath the 44 of Cozy to take a position away from him.
Now let's see if Pouch can work on the car ahead of him. That is Danny Johnson. Tom Mayberry in trouble on the front straight. Does get it into the pit area, by the way. Your leaders down into the first corner are Kenny Brightbill and Brett Hearn, but the battle is back in the pack. There is Brightbill right there. Hearn should come into your shot just about there, and you can see the distance of about 20 car lengths or so as they go by one of the slower cars. Eddie Marshall way back off the pace from there is third, but Marshall doesn't have anybody pressing him, and he's not pressing anybody else. He's just running a comfortable third right now. Look at CD. He is starting to get away from Danny Johnson, Billy Pouch, and Frank Cozy. If things fall his way with pit stops, it's conceivable he could get his lap back.
Yeah, he sure could, and if he does get his lap back, running as well as he is running this afternoon, C.D. Colville could well be a factor in this race, a race he has never won.
Kenny Brightbill, the leader, has also never won.
Oh,
we got a crash in the corner.
Pouch and Danny Johnson, Pouch into the wall again. You could see that one coming, couldn't you? Pouch just tried to stick it underneath, and it didn't quite fit. That's your pole sitter. Here's a replay. Look at Pouch on the inside, trying to make it. Oh, he just doesn't get in there. Just did not quite get underneath Danny Johnson when he had to get underneath. Danny came down. It's perfectly reasonable for Danny to do that. He probably didn't even know Pouch was there, and boom, Pouch got belted. We are now getting set up for some pit stops in the infield. Some of the leaders are ready to do it.
Here comes Danny Johnson into the pits, among others.
And the leader, Brightbill, is going to come in as well. And Brett Hearn. Pits about to get very busy here at Syracuse, New York. Brightbill ahead on your screen. He has been the leader until this point. Right behind him is Brett Hearn.
Let's go down to Andy Fusco in the Hearn pit.
Hearn brings the number 20 to a complete stop. They're changing both rear wheels, both rear tires, although I'll be honest with you, there's not much tire wear at all. Brett Hearn looking calm and cool in the cockpit. He takes a drink of Gatorade, throws it out. No, that was Mountain Dew. He looks pretty refreshed. Now they're gassing up the car. Hearn's had some mileage problems all week long. He's getting less than 4 miles to a gallon. And he's away in 26.3 seconds. A good pit stop.
Eddie Marshall is still on the track, so Marshall is running in the lead right now, but he has not made a pit stop. If he comes in, C.D. Colville goes back on the lead lap. There you see Brett Hearn on the track. Kenny Brightville comes out of the pits running behind Hearn. And Danny Johnson is still in the pits. He may have received some damage from that incident with Billy Pouch. Andy Fusco is there.
Danny Johnson, who's been fast, although conservative here early in the running, now has a problem with that left rear hub. Almost certain to go a lap down here. This pit stop has now been over a minute long. Danny Johnson in trouble. The crew coming by. Danny being explained exactly what is the difficulty.
And as you can see, Danny Johnson is unbuckling and on his way out of the 27J. And the word from the pits from Andy Fusco, the rear axle is bent on the 27J of Danny Johnson. The rear axle tubing was what let go. Here is your leader coming down the front straight. It is Marshall. C.D. Colville a lap down is the 61. Fritz Eppright has moved into second. He's made a good charge also. The 44, Frank Cozy running third. The active one, Ray Bateman, is in fourth. 125, Doug Hoffman running in fifth down the back straightaway. There have been only 3 leaders in the race. Eddie Marshall is the 3rd leader. Billy Pouch led it first. Then it was Kenny Brightville. And now the 98 of Eddie Marshall, 2nd-generation driver. Eddie from Pound Ridge, New York, a regular competitor at Lebanon Valley Speedway. And look at CD. He continues to hold off the guys running behind him, even though he is a lap down. 7:04, Fritz Eppright right now is running in second, one of the New Jersey challengers. Frank Cozy out of Pennsylvania is third, and Doug Hoffman running very, very well into 125. He is fourth, and Hoffman is a money racer. He goes where the money is.
Yeah, he does, and I'm surprised Eddie Marshall has not yet taken a pit stop, Roy. Before the start of the race, he said the most he could run on a tank of gas would be 70 laps. 71 would be absolutely the furthest he'd want to go. We are right now on lap 61, and he has not yet pitted.
We'll be back to the Miller High Life 300 right after this.
Chicken hot steak and shrimp specials. Steak and shrimp specials at the Round Round. Chicken hot steak and shrimp specials. Save yourself $1 at the Round Round. Steak and shrimp specials. Oh, what a meal! All in $1 off. Oh, what a deal! Sizzling hot steak and shrimp specials at a special price. Round Round makes it taste just right. So get $1 off of something hot tonight at Round Round.
Join the thousands who enjoy Stock Car Racing Magazine. You get brilliant action color photography, columns and stories by drivers who win, and the men who set up the winning cars. Technical articles that explain in detail the workings of winning suspensions, components, and engines. Stories about the men behind the wheel, the drama, the excitement of stock car racing.
Call 1-800-441-3636 for a year of Stock Car Racing Magazine. Less than $15. Have Visa or MasterCard ready. 1-800-441-3636. Stock Car Racing Magazine.
Now you can own the memories of the greatest modified racing in the world from 1983 to 1987. Watch Alan Johnson take his first at Syracuse in '83. See Jack Johnson win his second 284, or Brett Hearn's 1985 triumph in the closest 200 ever. Relive Bob McCready's popular 1986 victory, or see Jimmy Horton win the first Miller High Life 300. Now through this special offer, you can get each tape for only $19.95. Here's how to order.
All week long, you've been thinking about today. It's race day. Time to kick back and taste the high life. Now the sun's hot. The Miller High Life's cold. The cars are ready. And so are you.
Stop and taste the high.
Miller High Life.
CT just continues to hold off Eppright Cozy. Look at Hoffman on the outside of Horton going through the corners. Doug Hoffman is going for it, and Marshall goes into the pits under the green. Boy, that's a pit strategy there didn't work.
Very, very costly. He's going to lose a lap as a result of this, almost certainly. His crew is ready for him. They would like to change tires. They're not going to have the time to change the tires on that car. Marshall is just going to have to sit there in the pits and take fuel, and that's it. And not only that, they're only going to take 1 can of fuel. They didn't even take 2 cans of fuel, and he can't get the car started. The worst. Marshall stuck in the pits. He only got 1 can of fuel. The car is not running. It is sitting still. It is stalled at the entrance to turn 1. Marshall had been your leader. He is not running. He is a hazard. The yellow flag has just come out, and Marshall goes a lap down. Cozy in the pits.
Cozy, the race leader. That gives Doug Hoffman the lead now, and Hoffman becomes the 5th leader of the race.
Very slow pit stop by Marshall's crew.
And look who is on the outside of Doug Hoffman. Defending champion Jimmy Horton.
Watch Horton.
Watch Horton.
He is flying. That is the same car he won this race with last year. He's got basically the same team, the same organization. There goes Cozy now, finally. Not a great pit stop for Cozy, who's also not running yet. The crew pushing the car in gear, trying to get him started. He's in high gear. Will Cozy get it started? No. This is the 2nd car that will drop out of the lead now. Possibly. He's got a push truck behind him. Cozy not able to start the automobile. There he goes. Now he's got it fired.
White flag is out again. Doug Hoffman, the leader. Jimmy Horton running 2nd. 704. Fritz Eppright is 3rd. The active one. Ray Bateman is 4th. Running in 5th is the 73. And he has made a good run. Kenny Brand has been there all day long. And Brand right now running in 5th.
Hoffman on the lead. He took a vicious crash here 2 years ago between the 1st and 2nd turns. It appeared as if he lost a wheel first, hit the wall, turned over side, end over end, and what then was a brand new car. This is the car that they built to replace the automobile he destroyed in that accident.
Brand went into the pits on the 31st lap, so he has made 1 stop. But we got to be getting awfully close to cars making their 2nd pit stop for those that have already been in. In fact, we just mentioned Frank Cozy's car looked like it must have run out of fuel to have, or unless he just stalled it out in the pits, Dick.
The clutches are so bulky that it's easy for that to happen. Boy, they're on the gas way before the green flag. They are taking off in the 3rd turn area.
And your leader coming off the corner, Jimmy Horton running in 2nd to Doug Hoffman.
Oh, crash.
That is the 73. That's the Ferriolo car we just talked about, Kenny Brand.
Yeah, he just lost it coming off the corner, and he tried to save it, tried very hard to save it. It didn't work, and he put the left front wheel into the fence, and right now the left front wheel is all doubled up underneath the car. They will tow that thing home today. No chance whatever of fixing that and getting it back into competition. We're going to see a replay fairly shortly here of that incident. Here it comes now. Oh, yeah, he's right out of shape already. Brand out of shape coming off the 4th turn. Boom, there you see he hit that inside wall. That wall didn't move very much, but his front end sure did. Brand, a 1-car crash. He may have had a little help behind him. It was hard to see on the screen. This is the 10th caution period of the day.
He was lucky to keep it down, nailed against the inside hub rail, because if he had bounced off, he would have been in deep trouble.
We're talking about the intensity of this event. For many dirt track stock car racers, to win this one race at Syracuse, a career can make. If they don't do anything else, if they don't win any other race, no matter what else happens, if they win this thing, they go down in history as stars. Bren will not have that distinction today. He has never won this event, and he surely will not win it today. This is a really unique car. See the down tubes, how it goes from the top of the roll cage down to the front torsion bars? That's what they're doing in sprint car racing. This is the only car in the field that was built in this particular fashion.
Out in front, Hoffman, Eppright. Johnson is a lap car. Sammy Rogers the same. Fuzzy Van Horn is also a lap down. So a lot of lap cars running right now up with the leaders.
Richie Tobias running a very aggressive race. That was the blue car you saw on the right of your screen coming down the straightaway. Tobias is passing cars, although he's laps down.
It's amazing, Dick, sometimes how guys that go laps down are able to run so well with the leaders after they come back onto the track.
Well, Tobias' problem was from the crash, and that'll do you right in, but he's apparently got that car working up to full song right now. He's about 6th. There he is. He just came into your screen.
Pat Ward is another driver who's been running very well. Pat has now moved up to 3rd, the 42P. He was back about 8th before the last flurry of pit stops, but with the pit stops, he has moved up to 3rd. He's the epitome of the low buck operator. His dad, Bud Ward, a former racer, was probably even more low buck than Pat is now. But Pat has picked up a few feature wins the last couple of years over at Fonda, has been running and branching out a little bit more. This is his rookie race at Syracuse. He has never been here before because he has said he just didn't have the money to compete. Right now he's running up well into the top 5.
And here's a story. Brett Hearn has just come off the 4th corner, gone into the pits. It is an unscheduled pit stop. Our winner here 3 years ago, Hearn in the pits now. No great effort to try to work on the car. They have got a serious, almost certainly terminal problem with Brett Hearn's car. Not even trying. It's all over for Brett Hearn.
Just going to push it behind the wall. Pushing it out in front, Doug Hoffman, Dick. He is starting to build up the advantage over Fritz Eppright. Eppright running 2nd. Pat Ward is 3rd. Dave Blaney is back to 4th. Yellow flag is back out on the track. And we've got a car stopped over in turn number 3. That is the 76 of Freddie Smith. He's had a horrible day.
He really has. But, you know, they did not come here expecting to win this thing. They came with a car that was radically different than anybody else. Freddie Smith has never even seen this race, never mind participated in it. Certainly what they're trying to do is there's a very lucrative market for the construction of this type car. Bateman, this is Jack Bateman, who had been the fastest time trialer of all, moving now very, very slowly with obvious problems. He was involved in that incident. Now you see the problem. It's a shredded right rear tire on Bateman's car, quite thoroughly shredded as a matter of fact. He is limping in the direction of the pit area. He had just taken a pit stop, and now he is going to have to take another pit stop.
Well, that's the end of a great effort for Bateman because he's going to go laps down here. At least 1 lap down. You can see the tire just bang against the side of the car. At this point, it doesn't make a lot of difference. But that's the end of a great effort. He was running real well. Bateman started 8th on the field, had run in the top 5 the entire race virtually, and was running in the top 5 just then when the yellow flag came out for the crash between him and Freddie Smith. As a dejected Ray Bateman since waiting for the tire change, a dejected Brett Hearn is with our Andy Fusco.
Brett Hearn, what went wrong with the D&D dismantling wheels? Number 20.
It's a driveline problem, Andy. It's plagued us all year long, and we put new parts in the thing, and I really don't know what to say. I don't know what else to do. I mean, the car was running great. We had a good game plan. We had a good tire program. The guys all did a great job, and we were just set up to run for the end of the race, and I was just trying to stay out of trouble. It was kind of crazy on those restarts, but this driveline stuff has killed us all year long, and it's really kind of ruined our season.
We'll be back to the Miller High Life 300 right after this.
Hey, Bruin fans, now you too can dress like the pros. The Boston Bruin Sports Shop, located at Boston Garden, is your official NHL headquarters. Gifts range from official starters jackets and sweaters to caps, sweats, and T-shirts. For all you hoop fans, we also carry a complete line of NBA souvenirs featuring our own Boston Celtics. The Boston Bruins Pro Sports Shop is located on the Boston Garden concourse level and is open from 10 to 5 Monday through Saturday. We're also open before and after all Bruins and Celtics games, so be sure to stop in soon.
When I want convenient car care, I drive past the dealer, past the service station, and right into Jiffy Lube for an oil change with quality Pennzoil and lube and fluid service. Seeing Jiffy Lube every 3,000 miles is the easy way to keep my car driving for miles and miles. Jiffy Lube's 10-minute no-appointment service gives me more time for my job.
What's that?
Driving.
Oh. Jiffy Lube. We give more cars more miles and miles.
I can drive for miles and miles.
Haven, and the Red Sox are alive. Fastball. Good start for Clemens. Look what I got for you.
Boom, boom, right there.
Solid smash by Wade Boggs. Good pitch by Boyd. Throw down to second base. Safe. Finish it off. Stretch him out. Haven. Oh, mercy.
Nesson delivers.
Spring training.
Doug Hoffman coming down 32.9, continues to run smoothly in front, has backed off the pace just a little bit. He was running 32.3s earlier. Second place, 7:04, is Fritz Eppright, and then the 12A Jack Johnson, who is a lap down but running strong. Jack, we talked about getting his lap back. There's no chance of that right now unless something goes wrong, and something is going wrong with Doug Hoffman. Hoffman is in trouble. A puff of smoke came out of his car going down the back straight. Eppright is on him. Eppright is about to go by him. Doug Hoffman is out of this one.
He sure is. He's got big trouble. Is he getting ready to pit? Hoffman heading into the pit area. A major development. Here comes Doug Hoffman into the pit. This was not in the plan. They are ready for him in the pits, but they don't have tires. They don't even have a dump can of fuel. A tough break for Doug Hoffman. This is very serious. As he slides to a stop, now they've got the can of fuel in the car. I wonder, Roy, if he was out of fuel.
Well, we just talked about that, but I think I saw a puff of smoke from somewhere on that car. He all of a sudden slowed down. Maybe not. Maybe they're just going to dump the fuel in. They do. Here he comes. He is still on the lead lap, I think. I think he is, but let's see just what happened to Doug Hoffman. We'll go down to Andy Fusco in the pits.
Dave Hoffman, why'd you bring your man in?
We ran out of gas coming down the front stretch before he came in.
A fast stop. You're not a lap down. What do you do from here on out?
Well, we're going to hope for another yellow, and we're going to come in and put green tires and refuel again.
There's your leader, Fritz Eppright, the 7:04. His best ever effort here at Syracuse. He's from White House Station, New Jersey. Runs down the Flemington area and up here at Syracuse for the Moody Mile Miller High Life 300.
They haven't brought Eppright in yet, but they sure have been ready for him to come in. Several other teams up and down pit road are now doing the same thing, getting ready for their driver to come in. Nobody, however, is quite as ready as the leader, Eppright. They've even got the signboard out ready for him to do his thing, but so far, Eppright remains the leader, and he stays on the speedway.
Well, this is the longest stretch of green flag racing we've had. And, Dick, it's true, I believe, that yellow flags don't help fuel mileage a lot.
Not in these cars. They really don't seem to. These engines are absolutely huge. They're 467 cubic inches. The majority of competitors run a carburetor that is so big, the carburetor manufacturer calls it a dominator. It looks too big, in fact, to be on top of the engine. And here goes your leader into the pit.
Andy Fusco is right there.
Doesn't appear to be out of gas. He doesn't appear to be out of gas. I can hear the motor running. Eppright brings the car to a stop. He overshoots his pit. The fuel tank now being just topped off. Apparently they're not going to put in a whole tank of fuel, but now he stalled the car. He's got the car restarted. Eppright now running the risk of running out of gas. They are going to put 2 cans of fuel in here. This is a costly stop under green. We're up to 20 seconds. Eppright's team still fueling the car. He finally gets out in 25.89 seconds. A costly stop, and Eppright has lost the lap under green. Back up to you, Dick and Roy in the tower.
New leader is Pat Ward. He has his rookie year. He is a rookie at Syracuse, and Pat Ward is going into the pits. He just got tangled up with this car coming down the front chute. Jimmy Horton and Eddie Marshall, they slowed drastically behind Ward. Eddie Marshall has now become the leader again. Pat Ward into the pits. He is a rookie. He had just led his first ever Syracuse lap and had to make a stop for fuel. He is coming out already. Did not get a lot of fuel in there.
No, he really didn't. He just got a splash. That's the sort of thing you do if you're counting on a caution, and given how long it's been since we've had a caution, I wonder if that was a wise strategy. Nonetheless, he is out there.
Didn't lose a lap, comes back out running around 8th.
We are watching your leader, Jimmy Horton, right behind him, Brightbill, looking stronger than we've seen him in many laps. At least Brightbill is not slipping back at all. He's not been able to really challenge Horton, but he's been hanging in there.
But Horton is right now 9/10 of a second slower than he was on the last lap under the green before the yellow came out. Just turned a lap of, and Horton
Trouble.
Horton hit the wall.
Just flat, lost it going into the third turn. Jimmy Horton and Kenny Brightbill slides underneath it. What a development. Brightbill inherits the lead when Horton hits the wall in the third turn.
He got just too far outside going into 3. The car slid out, slammed the wall. In fact, I really didn't think he'd be able to bring it off the wall. There would have more damage. He comes back off. He is still running in second.
Which is remarkable. What a job by Horton. I don't think he ever lifted once he lost it. Went up in the wall. Boom, he hit it a ton. There you see where he did it.
Andy Fusco may have some answers from the Horton pit.
Mike Mayberry, did your man tell you what happened up there in turn 3?
No, he didn't say why he got out into the fence. He said he feels like the torque tube's been in the car, though. So he's going to do the best he can with what he's got.
Any chance of him catching Brightbill now?
We're going to give it a shot.
Still hope in the Horton team.
The gap, indeed, Roy has closed down between Brightbill, your leader, and Horton, running in second spot.
Hard to imagine 180-some laps into the race. A car in trouble is Doug Hoffman. Hoffman coasts down the front chute. He is in big problems. He is going to try to bring it up into the infield on the front straight and does. No yellow on the track. 181 laps completed. We're running in lap number 182. Kenny Brightbill.
Hoffman had been running in third. He's now backing up in the pits, and the crew is going to put fuel in the car.
Right now, Horton has closed right up on Brightbill. They're coming around to complete lap number 182, 6 laps remaining, and there is no ground between Kenny Brightbill, the leader, and Jimmy Horton running in second. Horton is just about 2 car lengths behind, closes up a little more in the corner. A phenomenal effort by Jimmy Horton in the number 85. He closes up even tighter coming off turn number 2. They got a slower car ahead. Slower cars could very well play a big part in the end of this one, Dick. A lap car at the wrong time. Look, they're both sideways.
They are right on top of each other. What a finish this is going to be. Let's hope they are both still running all the way through lap 188. Horton now has moved. He is almost no distance between himself and the leader. 5 to go.
5 to go, and Brightbill is a full second slower than Horton was earlier, running 34.5 seconds on that last lap.
And this crowd is on its feet. There is no one in this packed grandstand that is sitting at the moment. They are all standing. This is what they came for. The last lap shootout. The guy who left dirt track racing to go Winston Cup racing. The guy who left this sanctioning body to go run with a competitor. They are both slugging it out. They both have their fans. They both have their detractors. Everybody feels for these people.
Well, we're running in lap number 185, just over 3 laps to go. A 33.5 again for Kenny Brightbill. Horton has chased him down. The thing is, he can't get close enough to make a move, at least not so far. Again, they're coming up on a slower car. They've been in slower traffic the last several laps. Brightbill trying to pick his way by. Horton looking to see what Brightbill does. They come off the corner. Brightbill a little bit sideways. A hole coming up now in turn number 4. They are through that. They come to the outside of Toby Tobias down into the first turn. 3 laps to go. Tobias gets himself between first and second. That cost Jimmy Horton a lot of ground. It may have cost Horton the race.
It cost him dearly, no doubt about that. You can see the distance. There is virtually no time remaining now for Horton to make up that lost ground and take the lead.
Well, they'll have 2 laps to go coming around, and now a slower car slows down Brightbill. And Horton is right back in on him. Horton is on the outside, looking to come by Kenny Brightbill. They come off the corner. They slide to the high side of the slower car. Horton is down low. Brightbill on the outside. 2 laps to go. He could not quite get a wheel underneath. That was the closest he has been since losing the lead to Kenny Brightbill a dozen laps ago. But Brightbill on the hammer down the back straight. They'll get the white flag this time. We got a lap and a half remaining.
And Brightbill saw Horton. That's the first time he absolutely was sure of where Horton was. He saw him when Horton got that wheel under, and Brightbill took off. Maybe he had some extra. Maybe he had some left over. Brightbill now opening a bit of a gap between himself and Horton.
We'll see when they combine this time. The lap time, 33.1. He picked it up by 0.3 of a second. Kenny Brightbill, white flag one more time around. A great race for Brightbill, a great race for Horton. Alan Johnson running back in third. Doug Hoffman is in fourth. Jack Johnson riding on the top 5 as they go down into the third turn. The battle is for the front spot, and it's going to take a major break. They're going to have a slower car ahead of them coming off turn number 4. Kenny Brightbill, the race leader, swings high off the 4th turn. Through that hole that developed in turn 4, the checkered flag is out. Kenny Brightbill gets the win. Jimmy Horton finishes in second. Alan Johnson is third. Doug Hoffman fourth. Jack Johnson finishes in 5th. Let's go down to the joyous Brightbill pit. Andy, take it away.
Eugene Mills, how does this one feel?
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you in a minute. George!
Absolute ecstasy down here in the Blue Hen pit. My wife doesn't hug this hard. Eugene, you're one of the happiest men I've ever seen.
It's been a long time coming, I'll tell you. Dirt has been great to us, all of our sponsors. It's just been been a long time coming. Here's my partner, George Cheney. We've waited a long time for this. And boy, us Delaware boys have made it home.
George, how's this one feel?
I'm going to have an attack.
Let's all get in victory lane.
And this will be the biggest payday of this guy's career. Kenny Brightbill. The crowd enthusiastically roars its approval at Kenny Brightbill, who waves at the bevy of photographers. Look at this. Everybody is still standing in the place. Nobody's leaving. They're all going to stick around and hear what one of the crew members just dove into the car to congratulate Brightbill. He is now being surrounded by well-wishers. The crowd all standing, applauding the biggest day in Kenny Brightbill's racing career. He has just won the Miller 300 at Syracuse.
Well, what a fabulous race he ran. Also, he was strong in the early part, Dick, then seemed to slow down in the middle section, and you and I commented on it at the time. Is he going to be able to pick it up and get back into the thick of things? Sure enough, he did. Maybe he was just coasting in the middle, just trying not to be lapped and hang in there tough. He did that and then came back, and it was the mistake that Jimmy Horton made, or the mistake that McCarr made, going into turn number 3 and just jumped to the outside, smacked the outside wall, and Brightbill was by. Well, right now, the winner of the Miller High Life 300 in 1988, Kenny Brightbill, driver of the number 30. He is down in victory lane. Andy Fusco is there with him.
Kenny Brightbill down here in victory lane. How does this one feel?
Well, it feels good after that long run.
What happened to Horton there late up in turn 3?
I don't know. He just drove in on the high side and hit the wall.
On lap number 94, you had a tire go down. Did you ever think you'd come back from something like that?
I didn't know. You just keep trying, hanging on, and hoping for the best.
Okay, the $64,000 question. Before this one, you told me it was just another race. You were going to go out there just like it was another day. Do you really feel that way?
Well, you just got to run them like another race and hope for the best. That's all.
The man who seemed to have it all wrapped up and then just plain lost the race car in turn 3, Jimmy Horton. A very disappointed Jimmy Horton right now with Andy Fusco.
Thanks, guys, and you're right. Jimmy Horton is disappointed by this one.
Yeah, well, we finished second, but, we beat ourselves. Nobody beat us. I got in the water, and, I should have known better, and I got in the wall. And so Kenny got back by us, and I thought we had a chance there right at the end, but, we were running low on fuel, and the motor started stumbling a little bit. But, we got second. That's what I can say.
Did you run out on the last lap, run out of fuel?
We come off of 4, and the motor was stumbling. I made it to turn 2 after the checker, and that's when it quit.
Sometimes second place isn't a happy position to finish in.
Well, what you're looking at is a beautiful rig and hauler that goes to the race winner, Kenny Brightbill from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania. An absolutely fabulous conclusion to the Miller High Life 300 here at the Moody Mile at Syracuse, New York. And Dick Berggren, you've been here for all of them. This has to be, if not the most exciting race, at least one of them.
Oh, it sure was. All the way through, you never knew who was going to win this thing. There were so many people who had a good shot at it. And wasn't it neat to see Kenny Brightbill win it? He had left this sanctioning body, gone elsewhere, kind of saw his fortunes diminish. In fact, his fortunes hit the absolute bottom. Today, he collects his biggest payday ever. Not only does he get that rig, which he can certainly use, he runs a lot of his own equipment by himself, but he also gets a big infusion of cash, and it's all going to help Kenny Brightbill.
And he ran a super smart race throughout the entire thing, was always right in the thick of it. He got a big break at the end with the mistake of Jimmy Horton, but he had to run it right to be there in the first place.
Well, he's a percentage racer. He does run for the money. This is what he does to put the groceries on the table, and he ran a very smart race today.
And the Miller High Life 1988 edition is now history. The 300 is over. The winner from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania, Kenny Brightbill. Finishing second, third, and fourth, 3 former winners. Jimmy Horton was second, Alan Johnson third, Jack Johnson fourth, and then, what a surprise, a rookie, his first really full season in modified racing, comes up to finish fifth. He came out of the non-qualifiers race to get into the field to start with, finishing fifth, Brian Goey. That's it from the Miller High Life 300. From Dick Berggren, I am Roy Silva.
This Week on Dirt is sponsored in part by Miller High Life, by Pepsi Cola, by Ground Round Restaurants, and by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America.